can either own your things, or your things can own you. From cars to clothes to beauty and success, the pursuit to obtain finer things in life is common. But when is that pursuit dangerous? The film we're talking about today does an amazing job at showcasing the insanity one can go through while keeping up with the Joneses. Mary Harron's 2000 horror satire, American Psycho. The movie takes place in 1980s New York, revolving its story around a group of young, wealthy businessmen who live in constant competition trying to see who can outdo one another. The story's lead character, Patrick Bateman, cracks under the pressures of fitting into a social circle that is so ambitious. I think everyone can relate with this movie to some degree. It's one of those films that points a mirror at you and makes you think a little. It had a quiet opening at the box office, making $34 million, but throughout the years it has been discovered by many and it has reached cult status. The cast, the soundtrack, the dialogue, there are so many elements that make this an amazing movie, and I can't wait to jump into all of them. So boys and girls, wherever you're listening from, I thank you for being here for the Season 3 finale of Sloppy Horror Podcast. I hope you've returned your videotapes because it's finally time. Without any further introduction, it's time to get in too deep with American Psycho. Boom! Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I'm your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey, and back for another week clapping them cheeks, the best producer in the whole wide world, Mr. Ozark Mark. Ozark, how are we doing this evening?
Hola, hello, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back up in this bitch once again. It's the Sloppy Horror Podcast, and it's a special little episode like we have these every once in a while. It is a season finale, season 3. Yes, indeed.
That's right.
So you know we got a good one today. You might have guessed it right on TikTok if you follow us on there. I'm sure you could. There was a lot of hints in that. But Mr. Christian Ramey, why don't you do us the honor and tell us exactly what we're talking about today, even though they already know because they clicked on the episode. But it might have played randomly. You never know here.
Mr. Ozark, we are talking about Mary Harron's 2000 film American Psycho, starring Christian Bale.
I gotta say, this is one of my favorite movies.
Who the fuck's walking around back there?
There are an enormous amount of quotes in this movie.
There is.
There's an enormous amount of great parts. Just to top it all off, or start it off, what a performance by Christian Bale.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite performance by him out of any of his movies.
That says a lot because he's a great actor.
He is a great actor, and he really shows it in this movie right here, American Psycho, back here and made in 2000, right?
Yeah, 21 years old. That's nuts.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I always like to see people who aren't horror actors mainly take on the role of some of these, and they usually turn out great. And I tell you what, this man, Christian Bale, killed it in this role. I'll say right off the top, because between his facial expressions, his lines, his body language, everything. I firmly believe, without a doubt, watching this, I fall into it right away. This man is truly a psycho.
Oh, he is a psychopath. Mm-hmm. And just kind of to lead us into this, I don't know. It's really strange because I feel young and old at the same time. I'm in my 30s, so we're in that weird age. So I don't know how many people have seen this movie or haven't. I know big horror nerds know this movie. So if you haven't, in a nutshell, Christian Bale, he's a character in this movie. His name's Patrick Bateman. Patrick Bateman is a successful businessman, like a Wall Street kind of guy. He's in with a cool gang of guys. He's in his 20s. He's very successful, has a great place. He looks like he's chiseled out of wood. He has this on paper, perfect life.
Yeah.
But he has these crazy urges. And the whole movie really is a giant metaphor for keeping up with the Jones in America, just trying to stay on top of everything and how that can drive one crazy and how a killer could be just amongst us. So it's a great flick if you haven't seen it. But the reason we picked this, initially, I think Ozark and I kind of wanted to do the Fear Streets. But watching them, I don't know if we could have did a whole hour episode on those. We could have, but it would have been hard for me to really...
Well, to me, I'll just straight say, I didn't mind the Fear Streets at all.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to talk about a movie for an hour like we usually do on something to me that's not really rewatchable. It doesn't have any rewatchability. It's a great one and done. Good if there's something you need to watch. Kills were great, all that stuff, but just the story didn't resonate with me. It wasn't that interesting. Like I almost fell asleep.
I agree.
I almost fell asleep during the third one.
I agree.
I didn't hate them though. I don't regret watching them.
I feel the same way, man. It's like the older flicks, I mean, we've seen them so many times that it's not hard for us to talk about, but a movie that just came out, obviously, if you're hip to the show, we do our ratings at the end of the episode, and that maybe takes 10 minutes. So what we were going to do was just have an episode of ratings and just go bam, bam, bam. But I kind of grouped the movies together as one whole, and I don't know if I could have put a whole hour together without being, like, too negative. And, like, I didn't want to, like, end up just having a whole episode where I'm, like, preaching older horror movies and just being like, back in my day, we would have pictures at the movie show. Like, I didn't want to be that guy. And I was like, it's kind of a spicy week. I feel like there was a full moon. I mean, everybody's been tense this week. Even at my work, everywhere in the world, people are tense. And I was like, man, let's go with the movie Ozark and I both fucking love and have seen a million times. I think even you, fuck, man, this is probably your top 3 horror films.
Yeah, this is one I enjoy a lot. It's I enjoyed the whole movie. I enjoy the Patrick Bateman character, his dialogue, his just all of his interactions.
Yeah,
it's. I look forward to the next scene in the movie. And it's just one of those movies, man. It makes it puts me in a better mood. Believe it or not, that's what best thing about movies is you could put on a horror movie. If you're a horror fan, put it on, you're in a better mood.
Dude, like even like the opening of this movie, it shows because this was like based like in the 80s, and the 80s was like the decade of excess, and that's when like materialism really was at its top, and capitalism almost, like just to the point where brandism, I should say, everybody wanted the top brands. Food presentation mattered. Like all these things people were trying to be very cultured. And this whole movie, each of these guys are trying to be so cultured. They're trying to be so smart about worldly affairs, about music, about movies, about restaurants, about clothing, about cars. And it's the whole thing. They're like teenage girls. All of them. And they're like just so petty and keeping up with each other. If you're familiar with the movie, you're just, one of the great scenes is the business card scene. But even in the beginning, like right when it opens up and like they're all sitting down and they're just kind of talking shit back and forth to each other. And that dude comes in, he says, these bathrooms aren't good to do coke in. And he sits down like it just, he's like, I fucking hate this restaurant. He says, this is a woman's restaurant. And the dude sits down like, you can't do coke in these bathrooms.
I still haven't got all my favorite parts down to a T like you have. Like I've been so busy this week, I haven't had the ability to rewatch the film again like before we talk about it. But I'm so familiar with it, we could just go ahead and do it. But
that business card scene. So I'll illustrate it as if you haven't seen it. Everybody's competing to have the coolest thing, and these guys all have business cards, and the business cards are like the coolest fucking thing. It really matters, and they like showing each other their new ones. Like, check out my business card. It's eggshell with a watermark, and that's this such and such font, and they're all like, oh yeah, well check out mine, Johnson.
It's a nice looking card there, yeah. Let's see Paul Allen's card,
dude. Christian Bale, it's so funny because he's like dying inside as these people are pulling out their badass business cards.
He does great of like showing it too, like letting you know that he's dying inside. Like,
have you seen the remake?
No, I have not seen. There's a remake?
Oh, dude, there's somebody. I'm sorry to cut you off. I want to hear what you have to say, but there's a YouTube video where somebody took the business cards, but they just swapped them with Pokemon cards.
Oh yeah, I've seen
that. Nice.
Oh, dude.
I don't know who did that, but thank you for doing that.
Yes.
If you listen to our show, fucking thank you.
I really hate the internet a lot, but sometimes, man, it's thank God for the internet for shit.
He pulled out like a Charizard and he's
Yeah, but back to it. I mean, Christian Bale, you're right. He's like dying inside, and he's really good at going from psychopath showing it to just fake. Like, he just like that instantly from his facial expressions, like sweating and staring, his dialogue sucks you in like a motherfucker. And you know people are related. That's so relatable, too. It's like if you ever, like, there's one scene where I think it was after he kills Paul Allen.
Yes.
And he's carrying him out in a bag.
Jared Leto played him, great actor as well.
Mm-hmm. And he's dragging him to the taxi, and somebody, catches him like, "Oh, hey, Patrick."
Yeah. Oh, that guy.
He's like, "God damn it." Why?
What? That character had a girlfriend though, but he was clearly a gay character. I don't know if that was like saying something because he was like in the 80s, so he couldn't like be out, like or
probably. But he does his facial. If you pay attention to his facial expressions, in some of these scenes. It makes me laugh so hard because when you run into somebody in public that you don't want to fucking talk to.
I know, I hate that.
You have that same feeling and that same fucking look on your face. Where'd you get that bag? Fucking Gucci. Walks away.
Paul Gaultier.
Yeah, Paul Gaultier walks away.
Patrick, you're sweating. Why was that guy like that? Like,
I don't know.
Was he supposed to be straight? Like, I'm totally okay with him being a gay character, but I felt like that guy had a girlfriend the whole time, right? And then, like, because he was smashing his girlfriend. Patrick was smashing dude's girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was gay, but he tried to come on to Patrick.
Yeah, he
Remember?
did. When he grabbed his throat.
He's like, "Oh, Patrick," and then he's about to kill him. He's like,
"Why here?
What the fuck is going on?" Like he just walks away, like he doesn't know what to do.
He turned around, all, "Why here, Patrick? Of all places." Oh man, that's good. And I think too, it's fair to lay out and illustrate the fact that there is a lot of ambiguity regarding the ending of this movie. It's very confusing, and not a lot of people understand it. So I do kind of want to lay down both theories of how it could be, because even the director, Mary Herron, I listened to her podcast on it's not her podcast, but she was on Eli Roth's History of Horror, and she was just kind of talking how I think that he did kill those people. So at the end, what happens is,
he
makes a phone.
I'm sorry. Go through this, because like as many times as I watched this movie and the ending, it can go either way, and I really don't know which one to pick or believe.
I think it's left to be like that, to be open, but the way that I see it is, so he goes through, he's killing all these people, he has these urges, you could see him snapping the whole movie, and then at the end of the movie, he like makes a phone call, he's like losing his shit, and he tells this guy like, "Look, I've killed all these fucking people, I'm done for, yada yada." And then like the next day he sees this guy at business dinner, and he's like, "Oh, I got that voicemail, man, that was crazy, blah blah blah." And then at the end, it shows Patrick like flipping through this comic book where there's all these illustrations. So it almost led you to believe that could have been fantasy. Mm-hmm. And it is open to interpret that way, that it didn't happen. But the way that I see it is like, he has this perfect life, and like, he's a perfect guy. He's managed to conquer everything, like the top peak status in America.
Yeah.
And he did these horrible fucking things, and he told people, and he couldn't get caught. Nobody fucking cared. No. Because he was such a good, what you're supposed to be in society.
Yeah.
That nobody gave a fuck. Yeah. And that's such a form of like expression, and like that's such a metaphor. And usually I'm not very deep. I don't like think pieces or deep horror movies, but thinking about that is pretty clever. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely kind of it's a thinker piece, and it's not a thinker piece at the same time, because you can watch this mindlessly and enjoy every scene, like I mainly do. But that part always gets me at the end. He's like, "Fuck!" Like, did he really? I think, because I'm with you. I really think he does. It seems like he did kill those people, but no matter what he does,
nobody cares.
Nobody gives a shit. Because
he's a good guy. Like, he's a, quote, on paper, good guy. He's got this great job. He's super handsome. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. Yeah. So nobody gives a fuck. They're just like,
dude, some of my favorite parts are the interaction with his fiance. Every guy's felt that way at some point with some kind of significant other. Like when they're at the Christmas party, for example. And she walks up, she's got like a pig or something, and Christian Bale's just standing there. He's got dopey ear antlers on. Can tell doesn't want to be there because no guy ever wants to go to his girlfriend's or wife's boss's, whatever it is, Christmas party. So he's just stuck there. She's like, Chris, I didn't see you walk in. It's like, no, I've been here for a while. You just haven't seen me.
It's always the music things that get me because this movie, I'm not going to lie to you. I love discussing these characters, these iconic characters, because how many characters have we said? There's a little of him in all of us. Yeah. There's a little Art the Clown in all of us. Mm-hmm. There's a little Pennywise in all of us. Yeah. There's a little Jack Torrance in all of us. There most definitely is a little Patrick Bateman in every one of us. And I really identify with this because whatever. I'm not pretentious, but whatever. I keep up with shit. I mean, Mark, you know what it's like. You hit the gym all the fucking time. You don't live in some bullshit house or drive a bullshit car. You keep up with it, so you know it's tiring. And I'm that way with music and horror movies, obviously. So, like, watching him when he's like, you like Phil Collins? This album was more of his deeper album back with Genesis. Like, you know, he's like pontificating and everybody's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. And you're like, yeah, I get that face all the time. So I feel it, man. I really love his like it's like not even like he wants to do it. He's not enjoying telling you this. It's like a tick of his. Yeah. He wants to fit in. He wants to appear like, hey, I'm cool. I'm accepted.
He says it in the taxi cab when his headphones are on. He's like, because I want to fit in.
I want people to like me. Yeah. But it's so true. And it's like, even though nobody point blank says shit like that, everybody wants to be liked to a degree. There are people like you and I who will be old curmudgeons who we really don't need a lot of people to like enjoy us. Like as long as we have like a base family, like I need someone to lay in bed with me generally to love me. That's fine. But like even if I think you could live in a cabin, Mark. I think you could like Grizzly Adams it for a couple years. You'd be all right if you lived in the woods and you were just fishing and you just didn't have to deal with people. You could make it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you didn't have a choice, like, you're going to live there, you wouldn't be like, I feel so alone.
I don't think I've ever said that in my life.
I think it would take 2 years before you realized you were alone. You're like, damn, it's been a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit now.
I think I got to go to the grocery store or something.
So, I don't know, man. It's just, no matter who you are, you want to fit in. And then, obviously, people in life, you see that really, really try hard. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of a painful thing to see. You can feel secondhand embarrassment for people where you're like, buddy, just relax. Like, you don't have to, like, lie so often. You could be transparent. You could say, I don't know that. Or, like, you know, and people appreciate that. If you're like, hey, man, you heard of this? And you're like, nope. But if you're like, yeah.
Oh, people do that all the time.
And they haven't.
No.
Like,
I know for a fact, you know, I mean, hey. People want to be accepted so much these days, and they really forget about it's just, you know, be yourself, and then because
the right people
are going to come into your life. Like, there's no way, no matter who you are, like if high school was not time for me at all.
Me either, dude.
I did not, you know.
And we're not ugly.
And and there's so much pressure in that situation because they're like, these are the best years of your life. No, I'll tell you right now, the reason why high school is the best years of your life is because you're a young adult with no responsibilities.
Yeah.
You have no bills. Mm-hmm. You have a easy job. You know what I mean? You got your first car. You're drinking when you're not supposed to. Like, those are the fun times, not the fucking actual school and friends and shit. But
no, you are very correct, man. If you act like your fucking self, the coolest people to you will be in your life and that like care about you. Because I tell you what, I mean, I'm sure everyone feels this way, but when I look at my friend, like, we're a bunch of oddities, man. We're different characters. Like, if you were going to introduce me to somebody, you would have a conversation pretense. Like, all right, I'm bringing my friend over. He doesn't shut the fuck up. He likes scary movies. All right, he's kind of a character. Like, you know, there's conversations involved. But I kind of like that, man. It's like an A-team of people. And I don't know. I'm fucking appreciative for that. I think that's very funny, though, and a very good point. But Patrick Bateman is just like a mirror of that, man. And you just know so many fucking people like that where you're like, man, bring it in, bro. I'll give you a fucking hug. You're all right, man.
You try so hard, though.
Yeah, it's all right.
Like, chill out.
Yeah, take a fucking break. Like, you know, you could try hard on a couple. Like, you could be a car guy if you're a car guy. Or you could be like a clothes guy if you're a clothes guy. But, like, don't be everything. That shit'll eat you up, man. Like, what do they say? Like, either you own your things or your things own you, kind of thing. Like, it's nice to have nice things, but don't drive yourself nuts fucking going after them. Like, and everybody's guilty of it to some extent. Everybody is guilty of it to a small degree. Sometimes it's almost like ignorance is bliss. You're jealous of those people that are like, we're gonna fucking stay in this trailer and we don't give a fuck about nothing. Like, you're like, damn, dog. I'm just jealous. Like, do you guys stay up till 4 a.m. just like, my life? Grabbing your head, I got to do everything. So there's a little Patrick Bateman in all of us.
Yeah, especially, I know for a fact that if you've ever, like, had to break up with a significant other in your lifetime, that breakup scene in the restaurant is so fucking funny. Oh my God. It's so hilarious. My favorite line, she's like, well, your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. Like, that would never work. He's like, I thought about that. You could have them. He despises you so much. What about... She goes,
you could have them.
She goes, well, what about our past? Patrick's like, we never really shared one. He's so cold. Oh, I know. I love it. I fucking love it. He's like, she goes, what do you want me to do? He's like, if you want to do anything for me, you'll stop making this scene right now. She just balls and loose.
Reese Witherspoon, man.
Oh, no.
That's a silent role from her, but she does so good at it.
Oh, yeah.
But
absolutely.
She's not stealing the show.
And then, of course, we got the most famous line of all time, which I'll bust this out randomly, man. I'll just start leaving, and somebody will go, where are you going? I have to go return some videotapes. Just say that.
And even that in itself, it's like, I have this responsibility. I watch new movies. I see things. It's like a flex, man. Like, the whole thing is a fucking flex. And I've also seen theories, too, to say, like, like, not even, like, joking. Like, he has, like, Asperger's or autism, or, like, he was on the spectrum. And then, like, rewatching it, like, you could totally see it. I was listening to something where the director, Mary Herron, and she was talking about when she was talking with Christian, she was saying, like, hey, I want you to almost, like, look like you're a fucking Martian, trying to, like, learn how people do things. Like, you don't know how people react. Yeah. And when he has that dinner with Willem Dafoe, and how have we not mentioned Mr. Dafoe this far? Like, he's a great actor. He's the cop trying to... detective trying to find all these murder, Yeah,
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's like, who the fuck's been doing it? So that was a really great scene, but he goes out to lunch with him. And when he's eating, like, Christian's just watching Willem Dafoe as he's eating, and then, like, Willem will eat, and then Christian will, like, mimic and eat. It's like a very good acting, and you really don't notice it until you, like, watch it again and kind of pick up on it. But, like, when he wants to kill somebody, he watches Texas Chainsaw Massacre beforehand. Before he has sex, he watches porn. Yeah. Like, he wants to be at the peak and the top of everything. Yeah. And it's like the competition of life of trying to, like, put yourself up there. Yeah. And that kind of neat, though. Like, he's like, I want to kill somebody, so this is what I'm going to watch. Yeah. I want to fuck, so this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. And it's, like, weird, awkward sex the whole time. He's, like, looking at himself in the mirror the whole time. Oh, no,
I love when he's sitting there flexing, just... It's very awkward sex, you're right. But man, what a kill though, that little thing where he's in some, I don't know where he is. Is he in like an abandoned building, or is he in like a hotel loft, or where the fuck is he? An apartment or something?
For what kill?
For the two hookers kills.
Yeah, I think he's in his place, to be honest with you.
Are you sure? Because there's no way.
There's the stairway scene, and
is that his own building?
I thought it was. You may be right.
It may be, it may not be. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyways,
either way, it could be a hotel or his suite.
Yeah. So he has this awkward sex with these two hookers, and it's starting to get really. You can tell it's starting to go south. So then, first, what he does is I'm pretty sure he starts just eating this girl, like literally eating, like consuming her flesh and fucking biting her, and she's screaming, and he looks up, he's got blood all over him. It's intense.
Yeah.
But then he chases this other hooker. She tries to run, going through the hallways, banging every door. There is a full-blown chainsaw going through this apartment building.
Yeah.
So she starts going down the stairs, and then he's just sitting there, just revving it up, just waiting for her. And he times it out perfectly, just drops it, and then bam, hits her at the bottom. Perfect.
It was a great kill.
Great fucking kill.
And even though it wasn't correct, even though that wouldn't happen if you dropped the chainsaw,
No.
still, it doesn't matter.
No, it was dope.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the fact that... But that to me, so you're going back to the theory of the movie, is that's the scene that makes me kind of think that it's fantasy. Because there's no fucking way, like even in movie land, that many people in that many buildings didn't notice a chainsaw and a guy screaming, walking down in his underwear covered in blood.
I think he was naked.
He might have been naked.
I think he was naked.
Okay, he probably was naked. But, but that's the scene that kind of makes it seem it's somewhat fantasy to me.
Well, there's an ant on the table, dude.
Yeah, no, I let him go.
Ah, fuck face.
Okay, I've never seen anybody struggle with killing an ant just like you did. What the fuck was that?
He was juicy. He's like a big boy.
Dude, he was.
He's like one of them old big ants.
He was the he was the ant father. It's one of them, dude, that problem. Anyway, I'm not getting into ants, but yeah, so that kill was great, but you got to talk about the whole what's his name? Paul Allen sequence of starting to take him out to dinner.
Like, can look, and I don't want to mispronounce this chick's name, so I am looking because I've got the cast right here pulled up. So the I don't know how to Chloe Sevigny. I don't know how his secretary.
Yeah,
that girl was an American Horror Story. She's a great actress. So let's lay this down, okay? Just real quick. Christian Bale, okay? Jared Leto, Reese Witherspoon, Willem Dafoe, that Chloe chick I just mentioned. Like, that's just a handful of them. Like, that's a superstar fucking cast.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's only half of them, you're right, because there's other people that I recognize. I can't think off the top of my head, but...
Yeah, those are like the A-listers. And like you said, the Paul Allen scene played by Jared Leto, that's pretty much kind of who Christian Bale had, like, almost like a man crush on. Like, he was really...
I thought it was because he was wanting to be like Patrick.
Well,
Paul was mimicking what Patrick was doing, or is that who
Patrick
wanted to be like him?
It was another competitor. So, like, amongst Patrick's friend group, Patrick feels like he has superiority. Like, he feels like he's the coolest, or like he at least has enough swagger amongst himself where he feels like one of the leaders in his group. Well, Paul Allen really isn't in his group, but he's like a competitor in his eyes. He's like, Paul Allen has the cool business card. He can get the reservations at the cool restaurants that Patrick can't right away. He's like a couple rungs above him.
Okay.
And Patrick was just he was jealous. It was like kind of like man crush. He's jealous. Like, he's like, fuck, dude, he's just doing everything right.
Yeah.
Like, not only is he doing what I would have done, but he did it like a step better. And it's like, fuck, this guy's got it going on. And so Patrick invites Paul over to his house.
Well, first they go to a Mexican restaurant, which is hilarious. The Raiders like, do you want me to bring it? Not if you want to keep your spleen.
Yeah.
What? I love how he says, I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
He has like these intrusive thoughts and these sayings, and like, I don't know about you, Ozark Mark, but I think this is why we're friends. Sometimes like my brain might just say the worst thing, and I'm like, oh, I can't say that, like just like Bill Burr had that perfect skit where he's like, where you're driving down the road and you see a bunch of people standing on the sidewalk, and you never do it,
right?
But you just just those intrusive thoughts. But Patrick kind of says them, which is funny, and like that's why I think he's like on the spectrum of something as well, just because I find that very funny that you said like the breakup scene, he's just so fucking cold about it. Like he's just so like, fuck you. Like,
no hold back.
The whole movie he's very much like that. He drops a couple F-bombs when he's talking about, a person who wasn't an F-bomb, like he said that, man, and it was like, whoa, buddy, like, he was a total douchebag, a total narcissist, but it's because he got lost in the sauce.
Yep.
If you were like a little bit of Patrick Bateman, you could be successful, but this guy got lost in the sauce.
Yep. But anyway, so after the Mexican restaurant, Patrick takes Paul back to his place. Of course, he got Paul drunk. Make it easier, of course. So he's got furniture all over his room.
They're going to bang.
No. And then he starts playing Hip to Be Square.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes on his whole spiel, which is hilarious.
About Huey Lewis, yeah.
Yeah, does some crazy, funny moves. He puts on a raincoat. One of my favorite parts, because Paul goes, is that a raincoat? Yes, it is. And then just go right back to what he's saying. His whole interaction in there is great. I love how Paul Allen goes, he's drunk, he's like, what's all the newspaper everywhere? You got like a dog, a chow or something? He's like, no. Alan. But then he grabs one of the most beautiful axes I've ever seen. And then this goes from fake to psycho in a split second and just murders the fuck out of him.
You know, this film, even though there are women killed and it's about a man, I think it's really about an insecure man, like, to be honest with you. But to be quite truthful, usually they say the misogynistic or like the real psychotic horror films give you the POV of the killer, like kind of like eroticizes the murder of it.
Uh-huh.
Like the ones that we like will do that. And fucking this did not. Like it gave you the upfront, but it was like very much imagery. It wasn't there was blood, but you weren't getting the direct impact of things. It was like very cool imagery, almost Psycho-esque, you know,
Yep.
the bathtub or, you know, the shower scene where you're not really seeing a knife go in. You just kind of see a bunch of cool imagery.
Yeah.
And I respect that about this because it is an artsier movie, but they put enough blood and shit in it where it's like still badass and it's not too artsy. You know what I'm saying? It's like that perfect fucking blend.
I mean, the kill scenes are still intense, but they're not like super graphic and gory, which again, they don't need to be. I don't need to see super graphic and gory all the fucking time.
I agree.
I like it, sure. But sometimes I don't need to be in the mood to see it.
I just want kind of creative.
Yeah, this suffice. These type of kills suffice are perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they get the point across. They still give you the feeling of the kill scenes that you're supposed to have. But
that's actually pretty interesting. It's like you do tell me a lot of shit. I know sometimes. There's just times that it just bubbles out of knowledge, of knowing things, of what I know and what you know.
oh, what do you know here? We're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie here. So welcome to it here. This is what the segment here where we're here to tell you, once again, something that you may or may know about this movie here. So if you know what we know, you're going to know what we know. But if you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know. And if you do know, and then you're going to have a we know-gasm. So, be prepared for that. I heard people have great we know-gasms to this show. That's just what I've heard. But that's neither here nor there anyway. So, why don't you tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie here? Or you want me to go first? You want you to go first? You want me to go first? You want you, me? Which one is it?
You come here, you always blow my mind. So I want you to go first. I want you to go first, lay down a little fact, maybe about the movie, maybe about the actors, I don't know, tickle my tail feather here.
Okay, I'm going in 3 fingers deep here, check this out. This is my fact here. So, the main actor in this movie, his name is Christian Bale.
Yes, sir.
You might know him today as, Batman, or
yeah, I know him in Batman.
any other thing that he's done. Originally, back in 2000, this man had a voicemail, the answering machine type shit.
Okay.
There was people calling him, leaving him messages, saying that if he took this role here as an American Psycho,
Okay.
Patrick
Bateman.
role.
Yeah.
I know it's Bateman. You didn't let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Shut up.
You look that way.
Now, you did the thing where I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, Patrick. No, Christian Bale. He had messages on his answering machine.
Yeah.
And they were a ton of messages telling him that if he took this role, it'd blow his career. He'd ruin his career.
Well, yeah.
That's amazing.
That makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
No, I'm saying it makes sense because he wasn't Batman yet.
Well,
so I
yeah.
could see somebody saying, like, because it's weird to think that Christian Bale would ruin his career. He could be Barney the fucking dinosaur in the next movie. He's still going to be, he's going to be good.
Yeah, he could. But I'll tell you what, I'm very glad he ignored those voicemails because to me, if you ask me, this is one of his most memorable performances as an actor in this movie, American Psycho, as Patrick Bateman.
It's probably my favorite movie.
It's top notch, man. If you look at everything he's doing, what a guy. What a guy. They say acting's easy. It's still pretty easy compared to other things, but the way he did it, that ain't easy, pal. I'll tell you what.
Well, that's actually pretty interesting because
That's
that's
fucking interesting. That's why I told you. It's
Well, no, I'm saying it's interesting because that kind of leads me right into my fact here. It's about that lead role of Patrick Bateman. So, the director hired on Patrick, and the people hired on Patrick, right? Well, then all of a sudden, at I think it was like the Cannes Film Festival, the production company, they offered the role to somebody else. So
Somebody
they had,
else?
Yeah, they had two actors for one role at one time, okay?
That's like Two Girls, One Cup stuff.
Yeah, and actually, no, it wasn't the director who picked it. Like, it was who picked Patrick. I guess it was the hiring person, but they offered the role to this other person. This other person was Leonardo Dicaprio.
Holy shit, Leonardo Dicaprio.
Yeah, there was even like to a point where they were giving him the option to pick the director he wanted, okay? And apparently it just wasn't what they wanted to do, and it worked out better for Christian, which I'm thankful too, like you just said. But Leonardo, that probably would have been good. I'm not gonna say I like Leo. He's good.
It would have been good, but it would not have been great.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think what is should have been.
No, Christian Bale looks like a psychopath already by himself.
He does, dude. He looks like a fucking Ken doll or something.
No, see, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's dreamy kinda. That's
He
why he
did-
did.
he
That's
did
why
good
he
in The
did.
Departed.
That's why he did Titanic.
Yeah.
He's
This
kinda
was
dreamy.
Yeah, this was right after
Can
Titanic.
you imagine? Can you imagine if Christian Bale was in Titanic and Leo was in this? It wouldn't work.
Get to the fucking boat,
It wouldn't be work.
dude. Can we talk about Christian Bale's Terminator freak out? Where he's behind the set and he's like, "You walking back there."
Oh yeah,
Oh, dude.
absolutely. I tell you what,
He really is the psycho.
he really is a psycho. I'm telling you, it makes him look like an asshole. He probably might be an asshole in real life. I don't fucking know. But I'm not here to meet him. I'm here to watch him, and that's what I do.
He's a
and
great
it's fantastic.
performer. Did you
Yeah.
see him in that movie, The Mechanic? He lost like 900 pounds. He was like just a bag of bones.
Oh yeah, and he was great in what's that? Ford vs Ferrari.
Yeah. He was in the movie The Fighter, American Hustle.
He's in everything.
Yeah.
This guy.
Ernest Goes to Jail.
He's in Ernest Goes to Jail.
Yeah, he's Ernest, I think.
He ain't Ernest.
Oh. Okay, he wasn't in that
Are you
one.
stupid?
He wasn't Ernest.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Okay.
Don't you ever confuse the great Ernest with anybody else.
Jim Varney. That's that guy's name.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, Jim Varney.
Okay, I believe that. But anyway,
Know
is
what I
that all
mean,
you know
Vern?
here? You know what I mean?
Know what I mean, Vern?
That's almost as good as your Sandra Bullock. So, is there anything else that you know here?
I don't think so. I want some sandwiches.
Well, then that's all we know here. Until next time.
All right,
Till
guys.
next season, because I heard it's a big episode.
So I'd say most typically you have to honestly use like a beard trimmer to trim your balls, because if you're going in there with a razor, my guy, you're a psychopath. You're the real American psycho.
With a razor?
Yeah, the
So
people
so you're telling... Wait, hold on.
people do that. They shave their beanbag with a razor, man.
So you rather use an electric trimmer?
For my beanbag, yeah.
You are a psychopath.
Then a razor?
Yes, a razor glides. You ever do the brain? Okay, so that's when, first of all, you cover your shit in shaving cream, okay? A lot of shaving cream, okay? Because it glides. You will prick yourself with an electric shave.
No,
What
I
trimmer?
use the guard. There's a guard. I'm not going straight to skin. Like, I'm using a little bit of
Yeah,
guard
but
here.
if you want a nice smooth one, okay,
Oh,
you grit the brain. It like comes up in here and you get the brain, so it's all like blown out of proportion and shit.
I'll be slimy down there, guy. Like, things won't be right, bro. It'll be like, Mississippi burning. It won't be good down there.
You don't use enough shaving cream. But I barely.
No. Like, I'm not
really,
saying. I'm saying my balls will stink because you can't. You need some hair.
Well, the
down
only
there.
problem with actually using the razor is the like week period where the hairs are prickly.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Are we back on?
Yeah.
Oh what? Oh well.
Well, I thought you just wanted to go with it. I don't know.
Yeah. No.
I'll talk about anything.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Well, now that we're back on the move. Well,
guard's a
sorry,
good
guys.
idea.
Look, guys.
No,
we
guard's
weren't talking about anything gross. We were talking about tennis balls.
Right.
Anyways, guys. This is American Psycho. This is a great piece of film here. This is a good thing. I don't know. I like this, even though it's not a full segment. I very much enjoy that we say our favorite parts of the movie because other people might relate. So why don't you tell me your favorite part? Or I don't know if you've mentioned that already or not. I enjoy it.
I think we've mentioned the scene already, but my favorite part is when he breaks up with his fiance in the restaurant. He's just so cold and speaks his mind, and I know for a fact there's many men in America
that wish they could.
that wish they could do it like Christian Bale did in this scene. I absolutely love it. It's just we gotta talk. This is not working out. Like I think we should see other people, and she's just like not having it, and he just has this point blank tell her.
Yes.
It's over. I love the fact that, well, your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. It's like, you can have them. He hates her so much that he can just give her everything in his life just to go away.
You know that, like, they'll say like that to girls, like, girls, there's nothing you can do, or, there's nothing like loving a guy who's not afraid to be alone. And it's like, I've never, like, really thought about that till I read it, and it's like, yeah, that's a good point. Like, a guy that's just like, yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to kind of hang out in here. And they're like, wait, no. And, like, he's just got that, like, super energy, like, where he's just like, I don't give a fuck. There's nothing you can do that's going to upset me. Yeah. And, because you, obviously, when you're in a relationship, you're just not like that. You might have your moments. You could have your fun moments where, where you get your jabs in there. But for the most part, you're like, yeah, I'll help you. I'm on the way. All right, hold on. Are you here with the groceries? Okay.
That's
right.
what love is, man. Things you do for love. It's Courage Cowardly Dog quote. It's a good quote.
It's a song.
What is your favorite part, Christian Ramey?
I do enjoy the card scene a lot, but now that I'm thinking about it, to be honest with you, I really like this opening montage where Patrick introduces himself because he's narrating his story, and he just introduces himself in his morning, and he's like waking up in this like just fucking gorgeous, beautiful like penthouse suite that like I couldn't imagine what that would fucking cost.
I don't want to know.
Like, dude, insanity.
I don't know what it would have cost in the 80s when this is supposed to take place.
Yeah. But even if, like, I'm saying if it was now, like, you're paying 10 G's a month, easy. Like, just easy. Mm-hmm. Like, craziness. That being said, he just wakes up in this perfect house, and he's like just in his fucking underwear working out and, like, doing this crazy shit. He wakes up, and he goes into, like, his fridge, and he's like, sometimes if my face is puffy when I wake up, I put an ice pack on before I do my crunches. I can do 1,000 now. And then he's like, goes to the shower. He's like, I use a skin exfoliating mask. Then afterwards, I use this on the body and this for my hair. And he's like going through like this crazy routine. And you're just seeing how like meticulous he is on each little fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And you just see how that can consume somebody. But that if you just watch that opening scene, you're like, this guy's a fucking psycho, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like a normal guy. This guy's fucking nuts.
No, that's a dead giveaway right there.
And the whole movie is a satire. I mean, it's all a satire. It's all a joke. Like, it's meant to be funny. Yeah. Even though there's some serious undertones, like, it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's definitely, like, wink at the crowd moments where you're just like, like... How do you not laugh at that dinner scene? How do you not laugh where he's, Patrick, you're sweating?
How do you not laugh at the card scene? How do you not laugh It's not good bathroom to good coke.
Yeah.
How do you not laugh at these scenes, man?
Yeah. Yeah, it's.
And there's some scenes that I'm forgetting right now, just because there's so many great ones.
Do you remember the ATM scene where he shoves the cat? So, like, he goes up to the ATM, and he, like, puts this cat, like, it says, feed me cat, or feed me cat, like,
Yeah.
it reads that. He, like, puts his cat through the fucking ATM, like, shoots him, and he, like, gets that homeless guy and his dog. He goes, like, on a fucking rampage, just walking through the city.
Yeah.
Just nuts. Just nuts. Just killing folks out here.
There's something about psychopaths, man. I don't know what it is, but they're so goddamn interesting.
They are. They are. And he's the perfect guy. He's not some like crazy deranged homeless man or some like demon or entity. He's a guy that could get away with anything.
Yeah,
like,
and that's kind of terrifying in itself, because you know there's human beings on this planet that can do anything and get away with anything.
Dude, like, yeah, like, let's just say he's like some Wall Street guy and he's making all this money. He's single. He's like 27 in the movie. No kids, like, just perfect. He has like the world by the fucking balls. But it means nothing to him.
Right.
Like, he just wants recognition. And all this keeping up is just driving him nuts, man. Just driving him nuts. But I definitely think it's meant to be funny, so.
Well, it's funny to me, so that's how I took it.
You should do him for Halloween one time, because it'd be easy.
I know, I just got by a suit. I think I could do that.
Just get an axe. Even just order, like, a replica one.
No, I'm just going to show up in a raincoat.
Raincoat with the suit on?
Yeah.
I'm just dancing all night?
Yeah. That would be fun.
It would be, because it would be, like, not that much of a pain in the ass to do.
No, you just throw it on and go out the door. Perfect.
You, like, hope it's cold outside. You're just standing outside, and we have the projector out playing horror movies, okay? Tell your wife not to plan a Halloween party, okay? Because we're going to have one.
I don't think we'll have a house to have one anyway.
Okay. Well, Mark actually lives on Skid Row in a tent. So if you guys can please start telling your friends about our podcast so he can get out of this tent. Look, I didn't want to put you on blast, dude, but, you know, we need help. We need help out here. So tell your friends about this damn show, guys. All right? I know you guys enjoy it. Give us some good ratings. Share it to the world. Do us a flavor.
Speaking of flavor,
You know,
I think you need to sprinkle a little bit of your own flavor on this bitch right now.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Welcome to it. 1, 2, 3 in the place to be. It's the Sloppy Horror Rating here. And we are here to rate the movie. Me, not so much. But Christian Ramey, he's the one that everybody loves. Why? Because he's a fucking horror nerd and he knows so much shit. And he's got a nice pair of teeth, too. So everybody loves that. So,
chompers.
Christian's going to rate this horror movie. If this is your first time here, we say welcome and send nudes. So, it's a 4-category system. 3 of the categories worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
Yes, and they can be stars, cookies, pumpkins, cigarettes, waters, whatever the fuck you want to give your points by.
10 cigarettes. This movie's worth 10 cigarettes. I'm telling you right now. 10 cigarettes. Premium A-class cigarettes.
Parliaments.
I don't know why it's so funny.
I don't know either. But let's go on to the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
Okay. Not only does this movie have just an A-plus actor list that we've been through: Christian Bale, Willem Dafoe, Reese Witherspoon, Jared Leto, that Chloe chick from American Horror Story. It just really just keeps going. But the people who aren't the main characters, like Reese Witherspoon was People don't understand that with acting. Like, a lot of times it's hard with acting for big-time actors to accept their role as the B role or the C role, but those roles are oftenly needed in movies. Just real quick, think Freddy vs. Jason. You remember the guy who had the brother who died, and he, like, lived in his van, and he, like, laid so much backstory that whole movie, like, no, you can't fall asleep because Freddy does this or does that, but you don't think of him as the star character, but when you go back and watch, you're like, that guy actually laid down the foundation for the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
Randy and Scream, like, there's these characters where they're like, you're not the main character, but you kind of like are. Though, like, Reese Witherspoon did a great job at just like being one of those people, and I think everybody did. People wanted to make a good picture. They didn't want to be the star, and some of these people are still young in their careers, so it's very interesting. And Reese Witherspoon at that time was very hot, man. She was like fucking coming off a lot of movies. She did Cruel Intentions. I don't know what year that came out, but it's like right around that time. You know, Legally Blonde, all that shit was starting to come out. So for her to be like getting dumped in the restaurant very meanly and just walking around with the pig and just kind of hanging out and chilling, that's awesome. Like,
yeah, it's just one of those movies where some of these A-list actors, when they're in horror movies, they're doing stuff that you don't expect them to do.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it works so well sometimes. It's very refreshing sometimes. Now, I love the general horror actors, of course.
Yeah.
But it's always refreshing to see some people out of their element and do it well. So, what is your rating here for casting?
3.
3.
And
3.
But real quick, you do make a good point at that, because usually I look at it like directors. We're like, ooh, Stanley Kubrick, he's not a horror director, but he made this. Rosemary's Baby from Polanski. I always look at directors, but I never really look at that in the eyes of, like, you're right, like, they aren't all horror actors. They're all just kind of their actors.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a good point. But that's why it's a 3.
Yes, 3. Very good. That's 3 out of 10 so far. We're going to go on to the next category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. That is kills.
Dude, what a wide variety. We're killing homeless people.
What an oversized load.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot of stuff. Okay, chainsaw murders.
Cannibalism.
Right, dude. I'm not trying to pander because I like this movie. I'm telling you, there's a wide variety, and it's like artsy and gory at the same time. It's that fine line. We always say it. You get too gory, kind of becomes a comedy.
Yeah.
You get too not enough gore, it's kind of an artsy picture.
That's right.
I don't know if you agree with me, but I think this sucker's right in the middle, man. There's decent amount of blood. It's axe murders. There's chainsaws. They're eating people, but it's not like it's like grab you in your fucking face and it's like a Saw movie or something. It's that perfect blend.
Yeah, and these are type of kills where you don't have to think too hard. Like, you automatically know them all if you've seen this movie. At least a couple times. You can name all the kills and how memorable they are. You have an axe, the chainsaw, the stabbing, cannibalism. It hits the 4 main food groups there, dog.
Yeah, and then you remember when he shoots the fucking car and it explodes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to pander, but I really got to give this a 3, man. Very creative, very amazing.
3.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
What a rating there. So that is 6 out of 10. We are moving right along here. Let's go on to the next category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. That is fear. Is this movie entice fear? Is it scary?
So I'm really trying to like so you and I are men, okay? I would say athletic, all right? I'm not going to say we're fucking chads. That's mean to say to ourselves, but we aren't afraid when we walk in a parking lot at nighttime to our car.
Sure.
Okay? But that is a real fear for women. You know, like to go out on a date with a guy. You don't know what the fuck's going to happen when you go out with this dude. This dude could be super nice guy and flip the whole script and be like, hey, I'm going to fucking kill you.
He's going to flip the script, buddy.
Yeah, and he's going to get you. He's going to get you.
Get you.
I do think there are fear elements to this movie, but I think it's more fearful for women. And I'm not saying that like in a derogatory sense. I'm just saying there are fucking guys that are psychopaths out there. And if you analyze it in that sense, I think it is scary to people. But I don't think it really is scary to men. I don't think it... I think it's kind of funny because it's so satirical. Like you said, can't do coke in this bathroom. I'm super mean to this girl. Like, it's almost like, you remember the Unforgivable skits? Like the early YouTube where he's like in the woods where he's like, I told that bitch. And you're like... you would never fucking say that. That's why that's funny.
Yeah.
Like, anybody where you're like, yes, honey, you've said that before, and you hear some guy say, like, look, bitch. And you're like, it's funny because you would never say that. And it's like this guy's balls are like the size of the sun.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of makes it that funny for dudes. And it's more of like a shock funny because you're like, damn, dude. Mm-hmm. But I really don't think it's scary for guys. So I'm going to give this movie a 1.5 on Fear. 1.5. Because it is scary to people, but not everyone. It's like half right down the middle.
Well, that's just downright fucking logical, man.
Yeah.
I love it. So that is a 1.5 for Fear. So that brings us a total of 7.5 out of 10. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go on to the final 1-point category in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. And that is Christian Ramey. We ask him, do you fucks with this movie? Now, when we say fucks, it means, does he like this movie? Does he recommend this movie? Is he going to watch this movie again? Do you fucks with this movie, Christian Ramey?
I do, and I recommend it heavy. And even though this horror flick isn't a 10 out of 10, it almost isn't a horror flick. It's almost like a satirical horror. It's not a comedy horror, but it's like almost like an art piece, but it's not too hard to think about because Ozark and I are not necessarily, we don't want really deep horror films. We'll watch them, sure, but that's not necessarily what we're coming for. But if it is for you, no big deal. But if you're like I am, you could fall in this and you could say, okay, maybe it's not a 10 out of 10. It's not all the way the stamp of horror. It's not all the way there to give it like a 10 out of 10. But I do fucks with it, and this is a high rating. This is a high rating. This is a great movie. I recommend it. I fucks with it. What was that, 8.5?
He fucks with it. So that is a total of 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
That is a solid A-.
Yeah, man.
If you do the percentage, I think, I don't fucking know, what is that, 85%?
Yeah.
That's a high B.
Yeah.
So that's still good. I would
Yeah.
be happy with a high B, absolutely. But this movie's a great movie, and it's very unique. There's not many like this movie if you haven't seen it. But I highly doubt that you haven't seen it. But if you haven't, yo,
yeah, bro.
go
what
find
are you doing?
it
What are you
right
doing?
now and enjoy your night with this, because you will probably love it, and you're probably going to watch it again at some point, like everybody I know has, like we
Yeah.
have. It's
Multiple
great.
times.
It's very great. Very unique, very great. So that's fantastic. So, Christian Ramey, we're coming to an end here on our journey through Season 3 here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast.
We are.
It has been a great season.
It's been
So,
an amazing season.
Why
Thank
don't
all of you.
tell us what we can look forward to in the next season, where we can get a hold of us, where you can chat with yourself and
Okay.
other horror fans of the Sloppy Horror Podcast alike.
Yep.
There's some things that we have. So why don't you tell them what we have and how they can get a hold of the things that we have.
So Ozark and I have started an OnlyFans. It's pretty cool. We put on these masks. Okay, no, we have not. We have not done that. We have not. We have not done that. So here's what's going on, guys. It's great stuff. I much say that this has been an awesome season.
Great stuff.
I appreciate all of you guys. You guys have all fucking, reached out. And there's been people that send us stuff. Like even, you remember that cat Condry sent us some music. Like there's people that have been sending us shit.
Yeah, Conjure music. He sent us some music. We
Yeah.
got some candles from
This girl Jess, she sent us some candles. Our buddy Joe, he sent us look at this, guys. Look how fucking fresh this is. Our friend Joe, he sent us this. I don't want to get the glare on it, but it's American Werewolf in London. Autograph from David
Yes,
Naughton.
very awesome. Thank you to Joe.
Yeah, so you guys, here's what you guys can look forward to. Ozark and I have been working very diligently at finding the best sourcer for our merchandise. So that's what we're on. We're going to have merch for you guys soon. And some of you OGs, we got shit for you guys. So just reach out to us.
Some of you OGs, let me tell you right now, I'm going to make your shirts myself.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, that's not a lie. I'm literally am. So if you're an OG, triple OG, you are going to get a specialized shirt just for you. But, of course, we will have other merchandise available once we figure this shit out, because we're a
Yeah.
little bit busy these days, but we're trying our best here.
So we'll get that up to you. We'll have a website for that. And on top of that, okay, so this has been a great season. We've met all these new people. You guys have been very supportive. But in order for us to grow, we got to stay up on everything. So, I mean, you guys, I don't know what platforms you're on, from Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. We're on there. So, some shares, some likes, whatever, that we very much appreciate that. Like, I hate those guys that are like, smash that like button, bro. I'm not trying to do that, but we are trying to get to more listeners. So if you enjoy the show, thank you for reaching out. We'll also soon have a P.O. box, so you guys can send us shit, because this next season is going to be incredible. We're going to have all different kind of new dynamics to episodes, okay? Hey, we're going to be talking about some of the classics like we do, okay?
Classics.
We'll be dropping some news on your bitch ass.
News.
All kinds of news, okay? And you know what else is going to be very cool? We're going to do director episodes where we go in on our favorite directors. We're going to go in on some of our favorite actors, some of just the crazy theories in horror movies. We'll just have episodes dedicated to things we fucking find cool in horror and we think that we can give you an hour conversation about. That's what we're going to do. But I also must mention, as far as platforms, if you guys are Discord users, now eventually I will post that link, but the link changes from time to time, so I don't want to just keep it posted up. And also, I very much want to avoid like troll people. It is what it is. They'll always come in and we can take care of those. But if you are interested in joining our Sloppy Horror Discord, please reach out to us on any form. On our Twitter, on our Instagram. I have all the links in the description. So
it's a great chat room with people just like yourself. Good people in there. Gets wacky and wild during the watch parties.
Well,
and all that stuff.
And it's your direct way. Obviously, you can contact us through any of the platforms, any of the messengers. But like we're on there daily, and you can communicate with us and let us know. There's different sections, if you're familiar with Discord, different channels where you can episode suggestions, horror shit posting, just general whatever. If you guys want to reach out to us, let us know what's going on. Join the family. All right. We're wrapping up this season. It's awesome, man. Like, it's fucking incredible. Like, we're riding on a high here, baby. Now, we only give you a week gap, okay? We only do 1 week off, so it's not like we're coming back in December. I mean, we take a fucking week off. That's all we do. Go back and listen to one of the episodes you maybe haven't listened to, or, fucking
Christian Ramey, he goes live all the time. So if you can't get enough of Christian Ramey, he's on live almost every day on TikTok. You can catch him there.
That's Sloppy Horror Podcast on TikTok.
That's right.
Yep, you can find us there, man.
That's right.
And we do watch parties on the Discord, so we're watching scary movies every fucking night, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot more fun than I thought it would be to be able to communicate with people, because there's certain parts in the movie where somebody's like says something funny. Like, we were watching A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, okay, and the nun popped up, like Freddy's mom. And I don't know where it came to me, but I said she kind of looks like a California raisin, and everybody just fucking lost it, dude. I mean, but it's funny, man, to like be able to communicate and laugh with people like while you're watching a movie.
Yeah, it's like a new age Mystery Science Theater, but you're involved.
Exactly. So, thank you guys so much from the bottom of our fucking hearts. American Psycho, baby. We ended with American Psycho. That's one of our favorites, dog. And we're going to keep some of our favorites in the bag, because it's like we need those to drop from time to time. We're not just going to drop all of our favorites. We very much want to incorporate what you want. So reach out to us. Don't be giving us weird shit to do, but, what do you want to hear us talk about?
We'll take whatever you say into consideration.
Yeah, and it's convention season too. If you see us out, come say something to us. We are there. Okay, we were just in Indianapolis last weekend at the Days of the Dead convention. Lots of fun. Had a lot of fun time with all you people. It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man. Good stuff as always.
It's good toast. Well, on behalf of me, your favorite producer, Ozark Mark.
Yep.
I love you. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. And that is Christian Ramey, the horror nerd.
Yeah.
And we will see you boys and girls when we see you next time.
We're going to end this with some sloppy horror ASMR. I'm going to drag my nutsack across the mic.